Okay, so this is going to be a discussion about triple stacks and bundles, and with me today I have True Marvellous, who is number 5 in the world for Gamerscore. I'm number 8 in the world. He's just shy of 6 million Gamerscore, and I'm at about 5.75 million at the time. So, little history about stacks before we get into the discussion. The first stacks came originally on the Xbox 360 for various music style games, such as the Let's Sing games and the buzzer games. I forget the name of them, but they had the little buzzer controllers, and you had red, yellow, blue, green. Seen it. That's the one. Yep. Thank you, True. There was also stacks for some different region games that had different publishers in various regions. So you would have a publisher for America, a publisher for Europe, a publisher for Japan. A couple of games that come to mind like that are the Eternal Sonata game, the JRPG, which was called Trusty Bell in Japan. Then obviously you would have a few different releases that didn't come out in Japan but would have American releases and European releases. Some of the dogfighting games, air conflict games, I think they were, also had stacks. But then when we came into the Xbox One era, there would be, understandably, stacks for Xbox 360 and Xbox One consoles, because obviously they were two separate, completely separate platforms. They didn't really interlock except for backwards compatibility, which had to have been coded in separately. Like, you just couldn't play a 360 game on an Xbox One. It would have to load up a 360 dashboard and via Xbox One's emulation. And to be honest, I don't think that was in at launch. True, can you remember?
I don't think it was, no.
Yeah, I think it came later, didn't it, when they started backwards accessibility or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and now modern day, we have seemingly 10 to 15 triple stacks a month sometimes, from multiple developers, whether it be Aphil Games, whether it be Xitilon, sometimes you, and a multitude of other developers as well, who are, I'm going to say, with an exception of Sometimes You, because most of Sometimes You's games don't last for like an hour. You know, you're looking at 3 to 4 hours. So I'm going to make a specific exclusion of them from the topic of basic triple stackers. Aphil Games, as we know, aims to release 6 games a month, many of which are of the same style. One style being the hexagonal rotating pieces, one being a Sokoban push the boxes kind of thing, another one being fit all the pieces into a certain play area, and occasionally a side-scrolling platformer. In regards to Xitilon, he has a lot of different games that are pretty much unique to each other. You know, occasionally there's a few simpler ones, but he does have a much wider variety than Aphil Games does. Then we have some developers who are basically indie developers, like one-man studios. I'm going to sneeze out. Excuse me. That do put out... I'm going to sneeze here. Excuse me again. And then we have a lot of single indie developers that put out a lot of games that have triple stacks. Now, we're here to first talk about the triple stacks, and then we are going to talk about the bundles. Now, having spoken to quite a lot of the developers, obviously I'm partnered with the majority of them, they have said that if they didn't do triple stacks, they honestly probably wouldn't be able to release a game at all because of the money it costs to produce, and all the licensing and trademarks and all that other stuff to release their games on Xbox. So I mean, I understand that. However, there is a lot of discussion recently, and I would agree with it, that a lot of triple stacks that are coming out are shorter than 30 minutes, and there is an argument to be made that they're doing triple stacks for the sake of triple stacks to get people to purchase them 3 times, even with a discount. Now, we'll quickly just go on to the bundles. Up until, I think, like a week ago, Xbox allowed, or I should say Microsoft allowed, these developers to release triple stack bundles of all 3 versions of their games, of the title. So you would have an Xbox One version, Xbox Series version, and a Windows version in a bundle, and it would normally be about the price of 2/3 of what it would be if you were to buy all 3 separately. So basically you would be getting 3 for 2. Now, Microsoft have now clamped down on the so-called triple stack bundles, not actually because of the triple stack bundles, but because of a developer we will get onto later named Drop Dead, who you may know about, who published the Outbreak games, and we'll come on to the reason why they have been clamped down upon after a while of us just discussing triple stacks and their effects and what we think of them. Now, True, I've spoken for like 6 minutes. I didn't realise I was going on for that long, so sorry about that. I did want to just give a history of.
It's perfectly fine. You're introducing everything and setting the scene, so it's perfectly fine.
So, True, have at it. What do you think? I'm gonna let you talk now, and then I'll say what I think afterwards, and we'll have a discussion, see what we think is the best way forwards afterwards.
Yeah, triple stacks. Where do we start with triple stacks? I think the reason to have a triple stack is a perfectly valid reason to have 3 different versions of the game, because everybody's got a different platform they play on. Some people do exclusively play on Windows. It's probably not many people, but there is some. Some don't have a Xbox Series console, so they're still on the Xbox One platform. So that requires obviously an Xbox One version, and then obviously you've got the latest version. So the reason for a triple stack to exist is actually valid. I mean, the problem as occurred is, as we all know, they all have their own separate achievement list, and they're all considered their own separate individual title, which is a bit odd when we have something called Play Anywhere. And Play Anywhere titles usually tie, it doesn't matter where you play the game, it ties it all into the one universal achievement list. So why do we need 3 versions of the game that don't, that have their own separate achievement list? That seems to be the crux of the problem, and that seems to be what the developers are counting on for achievement hunters specifically, to obviously buy all 3 versions of the game to triple up on the game score. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell, really.
Okay, so basically True's gone through and said what he thinks. Now, I'm going to touch on the Play Anywhere point first. Now, the Play Anywhere was originally, designed for much larger releases. Let's say, right. It would be, I can't think of any, but like big releases. Master Chief Collection, I think, was one of them that had Play Anywhere. I'm pretty sure that had Play Anywhere.
And it was initially marketed as that. Obviously, you could just pick up your game save from, on another system.
Exactly.
Now, carry on from where you left off.
Yeah, there is. The problem is with a lot of Play Anywhere content, that would mean that the different versions of the game, for example, like PC and let's say Xbox One, an Xbox One version that is running at significantly lower specs would have to share a save file with someone who's got a top-of-the-range PC, as an example. And this can cause problems. So you can understand why some developers wouldn't put this on there. However, with the majority of the triple stacks that come out nowadays, there is no way it's going to be pushing any boundary of Xbox One capability. And I would say that some of these games don't need a Series stack. I would say have an Xbox stack, fine. Have a Windows stack. A lot of the triple stack games that come out definitely don't require a... well, what I'm saying is they aren't pushing the boundaries of what the Xbox One platform, like the Xbox One console specifically, can do. And I think we can all agree on that point.
Yeah, we could run these games on consoles several generations back, and they would run quite comfortably.
So, I mean, I can see, and to be honest, I agree with that argument that some of them don't need Xbox Series stacks. And I'll be honest, I'm probably going to include Aphil in that. I'm going to include a lot of Zytolon's games in that. And I just want to point out as well that a lot of people have blamed Zytolon for the influx of stacks, and I would say that actually that's not his fault. It's something that Microsoft allowed since the 360 days, and smaller developers have gone, right, we can do this because this will help us make money to make more games. And you know what, that's fair enough. The point comes in is when they have these games that legitimately do not need stacks. And I mean, I know they want to push, oh, we're bringing out a new game on the Xbox Series, but you know, that's fine. But when a lot of them aren't going to be pushing the limits of the Xbox One console themselves, they do not need an Xbox Series stack. A lot of these games could probably run off of 1 gig of RAM, which the Xbox One has. I want to say the Xbox One has 8 gig of RAM, but it might be 4.
I have no idea.
I tell you what, I'm going to actually Google this. Apologies for the sound of typing. How much RAM does the Xbox One console have? I think it's 4. No, okay, the Xbox One console has 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. The Xbox One X had 12 gigabytes. Just for the record, we're just going to check the Xbox Series. The Xbox Series X has 16 gig of GDDR6, and the Series S has 10 gigabytes. So
what
basically,
does the 360 have out of interest?
I want to say that I had 512 megabytes. I'm just going to check now. How much RAM did the Xbox 360 console have?
That'll probably be okay as well.
I was right. 512 meg of GDDR3 RAM. So yeah, it was half a gig. So, you know, between the Xbox One and the Xbox 360, you could definitely see differences when stacks were happening. You know, there would be some things in Xbox 360 stacks that weren't in the Xbox One version. I think one that comes to mind, I want to say it was Black Ops 3 that only had multiplayer, or I'm pretty sure the 360 version, it might not have had campaign, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, it didn't have campaign.
There was something taken out of it. There's one thing that comes to mind.
I don't know which Black Ops it was. You know, merged into one, but
I think it was 3, but I'm not sure. Anyway, the point is that with hardware limitations, you can understand why there would be stacks and differences in achievement lists. But that was over 10 years ago. Now we're at a point where we're getting triple stacks for stuff that could probably actually run on an Xbox 360. Now, personally, I understand devs want to put something out on every platform. The issue that they have, and I'll be honest, from what I understand, Microsoft doesn't help them with this, is getting save files to actually work and go with each platform. Like some developers really struggle because obviously they're having to do 3 different builds for Series X, Windows, and regular Xbox One. So I mean, I can understand why some would have problems getting the save files working, especially, as I said, if the PC version is trying to run specs that the Xbox One can't do, or even if the Xbox Series can't do, because some people have really beefed up fucking computers. I mean, my computer's got 96 gig of RAM in it, you know. If I tried to play something at full specs on my PC and then tried to do it on Xbox Series with the save file, it wouldn't work. It'd just break, you know. So I mean, I can understand that. When it comes to the easy games, though, and by easy games, we all know what I'm talking about. The stuff that's sub 20 minutes, like A-Fill games, like a lot of the smaller developers that come out, like the pixel platformer games. And there's nothing wrong with these pixel platform games. They are fun, they're chill, but they're in a place where, whilst they're beautiful games, do they need a separate Xbox Series stack? That's the question that needs to be asked.
If we have to look at it as well from the point of a customer, the casual player is very unlikely to be buying a triple stack of these games.
Exactly.
They're probably just going to pick the platform that they're using on. So the core audience or the core customer seems to be
achievement hunters.
Achievement hunters
us.
Specifically. Yeah, us.
And yeah, I mean, the problem is that we have in this current situation is that we have FOMO, fear of missing out. We never know when shit's going to get delisted and we can't play it again. We don't know. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, One Step After Fall. You know, there was a German and a Spanish version, was it, or was it French? I can't remember. There was definitely a German version. I think the other one was French. And even though we legitimately purchased it, we didn't get refunds. It got delisted, hard delisted. And
yeah.
even if you use the profile exploit by looking at somebody's profile, comparing games, and re-downloading it through the game history through that, which you're not supposed to be able to do, but it is possible to do, you still can't play that game because Microsoft removed the licenses from everybody without refunds. Now, personally, I think that's fucking bullshit. You know, if we've purchased a product, you shouldn't be able to take that away with it from us with no refund. You sold us that product. You have not given us a refund. Give me my fucking game or allow me to play it, you know. You do not have the right to take away a game I've legitimately purchased because you put it on the marketplace as a mistake and it shouldn't have gone through. That's your fault, Microsoft. That's not ours. That's your fault.
Yeah, the hard delisting shouldn't be a thing. If you've
I
bought
agree.
a game, you should be able to download it completely, you know, whenever you want, even if it's years later.
Yeah, that is one excuse which I fully agree with, where delistings should not be a thing at all, because you're taking a legitimately purchased product, and there's the whole argument that said, oh, you're just buying a license to play it. No, that's a cop-out. We've bought the game. We're not buying a license. We've bought the game to play the game. If we're buying digitally, it should be ours for eternity, or until our deaths, whichever comes first. And even then, we have the arguments, which we're not going to get into today, about our rights as consumers selling digital items. We're not going to get into that discussion today, but that is a discussion for another time. Back to the triple stack. Yes. Completely different discussion that we will definitely have if people want to hear more of these outright discussions and just chats about our situation. So we'll try and get on to... We've explained what this current situation is. Let's have a chat about what we think should be done. So, True, I'll let you go, and then I'll respond, and then you can respond to me, and we'll just go for that. Obviously, this is a whole trial effort. This is just like a first thing. See how we go. See if people like to just hear the chat, and well, we'll see what people think. If they want us to do more, then we can do more in the future. But True.
Well, yeah. I mean, anybody who watches my stream will have heard me mention it quite a lot because I really, the triple stacks are really getting on my wick now. They really are. What can we do about them though? I think you see, it's what can you do about them, but it all depends on what kind of game you are. Like, what can you do about them as an achievement? I don't know why we don't like them or why we don't want them is completely different to, say, a casual player. A casual player may not even know you can get them on free platforms. And as I said before, we'll probably only buy them on one platform anyway. But for solely an achievement hunter's point of view, it's what I mentioned earlier, really. They should all tie into one achievement list. The problem with having to play a game 3 times is I call it achievement fatigue. It's you're doing the same thing. You're doing the same thing that you've already done multiple times. Yes, sure, they're quick and everything.
Just to interrupt you for a second, True. Yes, doing things over and over again for achievements is not something that we've ever not done before, is it? I'm looking at the Gears of War players here. True, carry on.
No, but that's sort of one requirement in a game, though. I mean, it's like today, for example, time of recording, we have had, I think, 4, maybe 5 triple stacks released today. So that's like what, 15 games. And once you've experienced it once, it's that's it. I want to move on to the next experience. I don't want to have to, repeat the same thing, over and over again. I mean, to me, that's not fun. I'd rather be using the time on something else, a new game, a new experience, or maybe on a longer completion, a longer game, like maybe a mainstream game, for example. And if it was just one isolated game or one company doing it, or you got one every now and then, it wouldn't be a problem. But the problem is now the sheer volume of companies actually doing it. It's all you're playing. It's just consuming the majority of your time, and you've just got no time for anything else. And the thing is, if you are like an achievement hunter who likes to compete at the top, get the highest amount of Gamerscore that you can get, and everything like that, it's easy to say, well, don't play these games then, don't play them and all. But the amount that are coming out, you can't.
Yeah. Well, we have to play them, or we lose our position. That's the fact. That's the fact of the matter.
I did a thing in January. All 2024, I kind of put aside all the easy games and everything, and I think I lost out on about 800,000 Gamerscore by just not playing those games.
Yeah, I mean,
I think one calendar year.
Yeah, I mean, I can back up with you there, because I remember taking your position. I went into, I think I was close. I went up to 7th position, and then I come in January and Chewish just earned 900,000 gamer score this month. I'm like, thanks, True.
But yeah, that's just calendar year though, and year to year it's got worse as well.
I'm just going to stop you for a second. Those in the chat, you're not getting any echo, are you, from his voice over my mic? I just want to double check, because if you are, I'm going to lower my mic. Okay, so I just wanted to check. Thank you. Sorry, True, continue.
Year to year it got worse. It got worse because we have one company doing it, then another company, and then now we've got, I don't know how many in total that are doing it, and I appreciate why they're doing it as well. They all want to make money, which is fine. It's great and everything, but I think at some point in what's happening at the moment, the bubble's gonna burst, and more people are gonna stop. They're gonna drop out of achievement hunting. They're gonna then not buy the triple stacks, and then it's not going to be cost effective for them to do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I think
ultimately happen. I mean, that could be quite a way down the line.
We see. I mean, I think the elephant in the room here is that if true achievements wasn't a thing, this wouldn't happen. I firmly believe that, because true achievements are definitely the leading tracker of Gamerscore and leaderboards and all that shit. You know, you've got all the other ones like Gamertag Nation and Exoface, but let's be honest, they're all bullshit compared to TA. They're all crap and full of cheaters and egotists and all that other crap. But
Well, there'd be no to keep track of, would they? You mean?
Well, exactly. And so, yeah, so if TA wasn't a thing, there wouldn't be anywhere to really keep track. People wouldn't know how far they were, how high or low they are on the boards, and people wouldn't really bother as much, other than, you know, jacking off their penis saying, "Oh, I've got 6 million gamer score" or whatever. And the problem that we have here with TA is that whilst it's not TA's fault, it's just some of the developers are catering to the TA audience, because TA is a very good indicator for those who care about Gamerscore, what they're playing, how long they're playing it for, and the achievements that go well. Now, I do want to mention something that I did actually forget to mention at the start. With Microsoft putting a kibosh, basically, on these triple stacks, they have given developers another option, which Jolly Lobster Interactive, one of my partners, has now started to implement on all of their games going forward from the most recent one, QB Hexfall, where if you buy any version of their title, so let's say you buy the Xbox One version of QB Hexfall as an example, and I'm not doing this as free advertising for them, I'm just using them as an example because they are the first dev, other than Sometimes You, who do this. If you buy one version, it doesn't matter which version it is, Xbox One, Xbox Series, Windows, they have now made it so that you will automatically get 50% off the other two versions if you were to purchase them. So if you bought the Xbox Series version, it would automatically give you the price 50% off of the Windows version and Xbox version. The only caveat to this is that you need to buy them in separate transactions. Like, for example, you can't buy all three at once and get the discount. You would have to buy one.
A limitation of the system, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a limitation of the system. It's not something JLI have put in. It's a limitation of how the system goes.
Sometimes you one as well works slightly different, doesn't it?
This was
Xbox One version first.
Yes, that was a system limitation. It was originally my idea because he didn't really want to, because he was in Russia. He's now in Dubai, I think. Peeling a little back behind the curtain, he wasn't able to get money very often from Microsoft because of official sanctions on Russia because of Ukraine, which we're not going to get into on that. But the point is he now can. But one of the ideas that I had for him to help sell them, because he doesn't really, for some reason, advertise the Windows versions as much, was to have people buy the Xbox One version full price, and if they do, they can get the Xbox Series and Windows versions for half price automatically. The store, whether you use the Microsoft Store app, Xbox, the PC website for the Xbox and Microsoft stores, it doesn't matter which, you would always, as long as you were signed in, automatically get the discounts for those. And he's done that for 5 or 6 years, or however long since he's been published. He's like, what, 28? I think he published his first ones in like 2018, 2017, something like that. I've been partnered with him since the very beginning. I was his first partner, basically. And I've helped fix so many of his games that had issues before release, and he does take my opinion to heart. He values it, and that means a lot. So when I said, hey, do you really want people to buy the same game 3 times at full price? He's like, yeah, that's a bit shitty, and he changed it. And I think we can all agree, props to him. He's done that since the very start as a thank you to achievement hunters, basically, who are the biggest buyers of his games. He understands that, and I think all of these developers, whether they want to admit it or not, these cheaper, easier games, they have two markets: achievement hunters and children. And so these children are going to be able to buy these cheap games, like £2, £3, £4. Like you could just basically call them pocket money games, and there's nothing wrong with that. To appealing to that audience as well, and that's what a lot of them do. Like you have developers like Outright Games, for example, who only have one stack, but they are full price games, but they are games aimed at children, family friendly, and again, that's another thing that some devs can do. But half these games that come out, they are not going to sell for 35 quid. Some of them barely sell at 5 quid, let's be honest. But you have these triple stacks and you have these developers who have basically said if they only had one stack, they would not be able to stay in business, simply because the money that comes in from the different stacks. And I mean, I can understand that you do what you can to stay in business,
Interesting. I mean, obviously every company's different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I do struggle to find that hard to believe. I mean, I'm not saying it's just really they have to sell the same thing 3 times. What's the word? What's the word I'm trying to think of? Peggy and stuff like that. Don't they have to pay fees for those as well? For different platforms in that fee per platform?
What, for the game? For the game ratings? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I would assume that if the game is identical, it's just going to get one rating, and then they have to go for that.
I remember many years ago, I remember looking into Peggy, because I was going to do a YouTube video on it, and it never actually came to fruition. But I know at one point they did charge for every single platform, and they did differentiate between different.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to that, I think, now don't quote me on this, I could be wrong, but I think it was declared exploitative, because if a game, basically like we've actually been saying, if you're releasing a game on, let's say, 10 platforms, that's including phone, PlayStation, Switch, Apple TV, whatever, and the game is identical, why should you pay it over and over again for a game that is the same? And I think Peggy went, yeah, okay, fair enough.
So I remember there being a bit of a argument at the time, because the Americans rating board, the North American rating board, they basically waived the fee for very small games and stuff like that. They didn't charge a fee at all, and where Peggy was the complete opposite, charging
exactly. And some devs said, okay, well, we're just not going to release in Europe then, and or whoever does Peggy, and then the gaming people and the people in control is, oh no, we don't want that. We definitely want your game here. I mean, because let's be honest, it makes Peggy money if they do sell, So I think they backed down, but so I mean, here's what I think they should do.
Cost of the game. That's why I'm just brought that up. I know it's kind of going off on a tangent.
Yeah, I mean, so we'll move to what we think about triple stacks, and then we'll have a conversation about bundles after that. So what I think should be done for the triple stacks. I don't agree with the one achievement list for big games, like long games, whether it be RPGs, like stuff like Final Fantasy or Elder Scrolls or Doom, or big shooters like Call of Duty, Battlefield, things like that. I don't think they should be. I think that should be an option, because you have for those kind of games, especially shooters, input matters. Like what you're playing with, whether it be a controller or keyboard, matters. And I would say that if you think about it that way, the gameplay experience is very, very different from when you are using a controller to a mouse and keyboard, especially in shooters. And I would say that having separate achievements for those kind of games is fine, because everybody's skill level changes when you move someone from console to keyboard, console to keyboard, or keyboard and mouse to controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, I can understand that. However, this isn't really the crux of the issue that we're going on. Let's be honest, we're going on about these cheap games that are there for what a lot of people would say no other purpose than to make money off of Gamerscore hunters. Now, I think if there's no discernible difference, then Microsoft should say, no, just call it an Xbox One game, and say it can work on an Xbox Series. I have no problem with a Windows version and an Xbox version that is counted as the same list for Xbox One and Xbox Series. I have no problem with that whatsoever, because again, different platforms. Some people don't have a PC, some people don't have a console, you know? That's fair enough. But for these easier games, and I'm going to say quick games, Aphil, Zytolon, you don't really need, if we come down to it, I can't think of one of these games that has pushed the boundaries of what the Xbox One can do, you know. And if you're gonna have a game that pushes the boundaries where you need to adjust something, whether it be graphic intensity, certain gameplay sequences, whatever, then fine, have a separate list. I can understand that. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. But what you mentioned earlier, the fatigue, so to speak, it's definitely real. How much of our time, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining that we get the games for free to make content. I'm perfectly happy to make content, and I do enjoy the games. But when there's so many coming out, we have a very limited amount of time to make content for these, which means we have to make a decision where do we want to keep making content so people can see what these games are, or are we just going to do one version and just never play the other versions? That, because there's so much coming out. And again, want to reiterate, I'm super grateful for all the codes I get to make content for, as I'm sure you are for the codes that you get. I mean, I know you get a lot more from devs that I don't, and I get stuff from devs that you don't. So there's always going to be a a discrepancy from content somebody puts out.
And it's not bashing the games either. The games are perfectly fine. The games are generally fun to play and everything.
Yes.
It is just simply the fact it's 3 times.
Yeah, no one here is bashing the games. I mean, we could go on to PXR games, but my God, that is a totally different conversation. We'll come to it another time if people are interested in hearing it. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with any of the triple stack games that are coming out. I think the question is, the question that Microsoft, I think, needs to decide upon is, does this game warrant an Xbox Series version? That is what Microsoft needs to ask them. Is there anything that is pushing the boundaries of what the Xbox One can do, where an Xbox Series version is different? And I'm not talking about boundaries where the Xbox One version will display in 1080p and the Xbox Series version will display in 4K, because most of these games you wouldn't be able to tell the bloody difference, because most of them are pixel-based games. And don't get me wrong, some of them are really beautiful pixel-based games. There was a triple stack that came out, or is coming out, I can't remember if it's out yet, called is what you were playing earlier, Astro Adventure Core Hunt. It's a beautiful game. The pixel art is very nice. The music is wonderful. It's good to play. It's a 30 level complete and you're done game.
Simple platformer done well.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Charges it at a reasonable price per version. You know,
Yeah, but
it's fine.
it goes back to that. Do we think that needed an Xbox Series version? And if we were to be honest with ourselves, the answer would be no. Now, do you agree with that?
Well, yeah, on the basis that the Xbox Series consoles run Xbox One games, so there was no reason for a separate Xbox Series version.
Now,
there would have been a reason for an Xbox One version, so you couldn't say, well, don't do the Xbox One version because that would be excluding a complete console.
Of course, no one's saying
from the equation.
Yeah, no one is saying avoid the Xbox completely. What we're saying is Xbox One games play fine on Xbox Series, and you do have the option to have a so-called enhanced patch when you play something.
And only really it changes is just that you have to play it from the internal hard drive or the
memory card thing. Yeah,
card you can buy. Yeah. It just doesn't let you play it from an external hard drive.
Yeah, and that is another thing that we need to talk about as well. Just quickly going off a tangent. So many of these games play perfectly fine without having to be internally done. That is literally a requirement done by Microsoft to say, oh, you need to use an internal, or you need to use the expansion card, or whatever. I'm like, for these games, no, you don't. You really don't. Come on, you're not fooling anybody.
And that becomes its own annoyance, having to transfer things across just to get it to work.
So many times, yeah. Or when you install it to your console, it said you've installed this to an external hard drive. You need to put it onto your internal hard drive so you can play it, which is another annoyance. But yeah, so ending that kind of discussion, what do we think triple stacks do for games that aren't big massive AAA games? These indie games, they don't need a series stack. I mean, I don't think either of us would mind playing a Windows version of a relatively quick game and an Xbox version. I don't think we'd mind that because double platforms, and some of them could look much nicer on Windows if the developers chose to make the effort for them to do so.
Here's a thing for anybody who says the argument oh, triple stacks aren't targeting achievement hunters.
Oh, yes, they are.
Why is there no triple stacks of long games then?
Yeah. I mean, we could say
stacks of 100-hour games that are out there. There's
I don't know. There's a few. There's GTA. There's Bethesda's Skyrim. How many versions of that fucking thing's been out now? But genuinely, yes, you are correct.
On a regular basis, I mean.
Yeah, genuinely, you are correct. I mean, one thing that does come to mind is the 2K sports games. A lot of them have had double stacks because the Xbox Series, for a lot of their creator content, can't be put on the Xbox One because of memory issues. So again, you can understand why that had two versions. Like, for example, the 2K25 wrestling game this year.
Yeah, that's the reason based on the limitations of the hardware.
Yeah, the Xbox. Yes, the Xbox Series version had the island on it, whereas that obviously was a fully multiplayer thing that couldn't be supported on the regular Xbox One for various reasons. So nobody, I think, is complaining about the stacks of big titles, full priced. I'm not going to say AAA games because sports games are not AAA games, no matter what EA wants us to think. But again, it goes down to these, and I think the solution that we can come up with, I think, is Microsoft needs to look at these releases and go, does this require a series stack? No. So you're not getting one. You can just have an Xbox version and a Windows version, and I would be content with that. I mean, True, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a step in the right direction. I think the ideal situation is it all managed to one achievement list, but any reduction in that is good enough though. It is better.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that any reduction, the the devs of these games would fight back, because some of them, it could put them out of business. And that is genuinely the truth. Now, where some people will say, oh, well, they deserve it for doing 3 stacks. Like, nobody deserves to lose their job. No, well, except Tim.
No one wants anybody to go out of business. Everybody's got to earn a living, aren't they? One way or another.
Everybody's
so,
got. Yes, yeah. Again, we'll come on to the Tim issue on another time. But yeah, nobody.
Like all day, that will.
Might have to be a multi-time episode. So I'm happy to go and actually talk about the bundles now. If you're willing, I think we all agree the triple stack should probably, in the case of the minor games, go down to double stacks. And Microsoft, I think, need to put their foot down and say, yeah, come on, you don't need the series stacks for this. So in regards to the bundles, now, we'll start with the history of the bundles. A lot of people, a lot of devs like doing bundles like regular, like you would get the standard edition, and this happens for big mainline titles. You would get a standard edition and then a deluxe edition where you would get, like, I don't know, a digital art book or a cosmetic or I don't know, some in-game currency to boost you for a little bit, perhaps, like boost your stats at the start of the game. WWE is one of those kind of games that had that. You would also have the Super Deluxe Ultra Editions, which are like normally twice the price of the standard. You know, we're talking about, if the standard game's like 50 or 60 quid, you're looking at 100 quid, 110 quid, something like that, for these big stack. For these big bundle titles. However, a lot of unscrupulous developers, and I am going to specifically name drop one here, Drop Dead Studios, who are the developers, if you can call them that, of the Outbreak games. Now, I believe, I'm just actually going to double check on TA exactly how many Outbreak games there are. So just give me a moment.
There is quite a few.
There is quite a few, right. So if we ignore the phone, so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so there's 13 Outbreak games if you include Definitive Edition, i.e. the series version stacks. If we don't count that, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 different Outbreak games as actual different games. Now, when I looked at these... Did you
just type in Outbreak to find that as well?
Yes, I did, yes.
There is a dinosaur one, which is basically Outbreak, but with dinosaurs.
Well, I've not counted that one. I've just literally the series Outbreak. Anyway,
it's even got the same map as one of the Outbreak games. You approach it all in a different order.
Yeah, we'll come to that in a second. Anyway, so let's just say there's, if we count the dinosaur one, let's say 10 different games from Outbreak. And yet, when I searched on the Microsoft Store the other day, I would like the chat, for those who are listening, without Googling it or looking yourself, I want you to make a guess of how many different Outbreak bundles there were that you could possibly purchase. And if somebody can get it spot on, or actually no, if somebody can get within 2, I will give you a game code. Random giveaway here. If you can tell me how many different bundles there were. Dubious said 35. It's higher than that.
Oh, are they all still on there as well? I thought they had been deleted.
There was 42 different bundles for all of the Outbreak games, like different collections, different cosmetics added to them, and every week.
For the last year, they have released one per week.
Yes,
this is every Monday morning you get a new one on your store.
Yes, and this is why the new rule for triple stacks got caught up in this. If it wasn't for Drop Dead Studios, Microsoft wouldn't have had a problem, because the only things with these triple stacks that come out is you have the basic version, the series version, and the 2 Xbox versions, and the triple stack if you have the Windows version. So for what is effectively 3 versions, you are having 5 listings. So to ask the question, were these delisted? No, they were not. They are still available because for some reason somebody purchased all this shit, and Microsoft doesn't want to delist them because it would make it harder for people to get them. I would counter that fact with just saying, just transfer the licenses so they have the licenses to the basic product that they purchase for each of them, and then remove the bundles. But Microsoft aren't going to do that because they are lazy.
I thought it worked like that anyway. Does it not work like that?
Nope.
It's a different license if you've got the bundled item than if you bought the individual.
Yes, you would have to. You could buy them separately, as I understand it. I could be wrong on that, but you always hear people buying a bundle of something that they already have. You know, so.
Yeah, that's true. You can do that.
So the issue that we have here is that we had a unscrupulous developer, Dead Drop Studios, or Drop Dead Studios, whatever the fuck they're called. You know what? It doesn't matter. We know who they are. It doesn't matter what their fucking name is. Releasing a new bundle just so that they could be at the top of the listing, and people who were looking at new games would see, oh look, there's a new game out. Let's buy it, and it would be like 60, 70 quid, and then it would just be a collection of games that they already had. And I know for a fact, because I've spoken to some people at Microsoft who have mentioned this, they were getting so many complaints a week that they wanted refunds because the bundles that they had purchased was stuff that they already owned. Like, everything in the bundle was something that they owned, and they just paid 70 quid for it. Now, Doobie has put a suggestion in the listing, in my chat, where he says the top of the listing should be changed every week to whichever game reviewed the most highest reviews the week before. Now, I'm going to disagree with that, and I'm going to tell you why. We know
Xbox reviews.
If anybody has ever looked at the Microsoft Store reviews, you'll always have some idiots typing shit in it about their nan being thrown downstairs or whatever. It's like,
yeah, especially Game Pass ones, because anybody.
Especially Game Pass. So no, you should never go off reviews, because Microsoft says that they curate the reviews. They fucking don't. Absolutely fucking not. Otherwise, if they did, there would be a time.
I reported free reviews because they involved certain stuff what you just mentioned.
Yes.
They also involved necrophilia.
Yep.
They also advert violence and everything, and I got a response back on each one saying that none of them violate the terms and conditions.
Yes, which is further proof that Microsoft do not give a fuck of anything you put into a review unless you're like linking to child porn or whatever, you know.
And I don't normally report stuff as well. I mean, and I would just laugh it off. But I just thought, as a little experiment, I will report these and just see what happens. And
well,
believe it.
When you're clicking on it, it does say, I believe, what you're purchasing, Keldy. However, this does sadly mean that you are going to have the stupid majority, of which is very large. Look at American elections, just saying. And you have the stupid majority who will just click it and go, herp derp, I've just bought a new game. Herp de derp de derp, where's my new game? Herp derp, oh, I've just spent 70 quid. You know? You're going to have the stupid majority who don't look what they're doing, who have more money than sense somehow, and they will get a refund. And basically all of this did come to a point with Microsoft where they said, you know what, this is getting fucking stupid. Drop Dead are taking the piss. And so, I mean, Drop Dead are probably in shambles right now. Oh no, we can't do a bundle for 5 games that we've released 3 years ago. You know? Because we know they're in shambles.
Playing devil's advocate with it, I understand why they were doing it though.
Oh, I understand why they're doing it. I'm not saying,
because the store is
bad.
Not very discoverable at all. Once you drop off those first few rows, your game just disappears into the void. And unless it appears in a sale, you're not going to get many sales week on week.
This is true.
Why they were doing it. I understand why they were doing it. I don't agree with them doing it, but or the way they did do it. But I understand why they were doing it.
I think the problem with it is that they could do it in the first place, where the system.
That's the thing. They weren't doing anything. They were operating within the Berne terms.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. What I was about to say was the problem with the system as it is does not check to see if any of the content other than the bundle itself is new. That's the problem. Now, what I think should happen is that you should be limited to a maximum of 3 sets of things, like the AAA games are, for example. So let's say we look at one that comes to mind, the Dead Rising Deluxe Edition or Deluxe Remaster, whatever it was called. That, I believe, had 3 different versions. You had the basic bitch version, which I got because it wasn't available physically at the start, and I was like, I really want to play that. Then there was a digital deluxe. No, there was a digital edition. They might have had specific names, but there was a digital edition which cost more, which I think had a few extra costumes or a couple of unique weapons or something. And then there was like a big ultimate weapon thing which had like, I think it had like a soundtrack, it had a digital art book, you know, all the trimmings basically that you would get in a physical edition without it actually being a physical edition. You know, if it was a physical edition, you know, they'd probably have a statue of Frank bashing some zombie's head in with a television or something, you know. Actually, not gonna lie, I'll probably buy that statue. But yeah, I think every product should be limited to a bundle of the following: deluxe and ultimate editions, or a series bundle where you would get everything in the series. So let's say they released Dead Rising 2 Deluxe Remaster. As an example, what bundles do I think that they should be allowed to have? Here's what I would say. The regular, where you just get the basic bitch game. The deluxe edition, where you could get... So it's a deluxe edition, let's say, is normally about £10 or £20 more expensive than the basic edition. You know, it'll have an art book or a soundtrack or whatever. And then the ultimate edition with all the frills and whistles. And then, as I said, if it's part of a series, then maybe have a bundle where you have Dead Rising 1 Deluxe Remaster and Dead Rising 2 Deluxe Remaster put together. That's what I would allow if I was Microsoft. Anything else, you don't really need that, unless maybe you put both Digital Deluxe Ultimate Editions together. Maybe you could make a case for that as well. But in no circumstances should there be 10 different bundles and like one cosmetic with the same amount of games like Drop Dead Studios were doing. I would say Drop Dead Studios are probably the only ones that were taking the piss in this method, you know, in this manner.
There was another game that did keep cropping up every now and then. I can't remember the name of it, but it wasn't as prolific as what Outbreak.
Yeah,
the Outbreak.
I mean, we're all seeing it. Yeah.
Maybe once or twice a month, maybe once or twice every few months it appeared.
Which is fair enough, but I mean, still, I would say against the rules. But it was nowhere near as prolific as.
I mean, they were every week outright games.
Oh,
every week.
No, Outbreak, not Outright. Outright is someone different.
Outbreak. The games are Outbreak. Developers Drop Dead.
That's correct. Yeah, we do want to make we did want to make that point clear because we are both ambassadors for Outright Games, and they are very, very good developers. They're very kind. They are wonderful people. So I mean, what are your thoughts on bundles? Like, what do you think they should do, Trill? I mean, we'll let you. I'll let you go off on one now and say what you think they should do, and then we'll try and decide between us and chat what we think the best solution would be. So off you go, pal. I'm going to mute myself for you.
Well, to me, the bundles if they appear, there should be. I've no problem with what the bundle is, but they should just appear on a timed basis. Like you're allowed one bundle to appear on the storefront maybe once every 6 months or something like that. To bundle it together. I mean, if we're talking about like separate different versions of a game, like you mentioned, you can get regular, you can get digital deluxe. That's kind of a separate thing in my eyes because we're talking like digital
Yeah, I fully agree.
shelf space in that regards. And to me, with digital shelf space, I think each game should just simply have one tile on the store. And then when you click on that tile, it then takes you into another page, which it actually does if there's multiple versions. So it's like it's kind of like a flow chart. You click your game, and then it opens up, and you can see all the other versions of your game that are available. And that declutters the store. You've got one version of every game in the store, and you can instantly, by clicking on that one tile, see every other version of the game that's available. And the developer then can knock themselves out and add as many things as they bloody well want to that screen because you still only got one space on the digital shelf.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do fully agree that under the new games bit at least on the Xbox, each specific game should have one tile, and that tile would say, I would say, because right now each bundle and everything shows its price separately. What I would do if I was to redesign how the marketplace pages look, it would be, as you said just there, one tile per title, and then underneath it where it says the price, it would say, so let's just take an example. Let's just say Game A has 5 bundles. Game A would then have a price under it, which would say the cheapest price with a plus after it, or an asterisk or something, and would say
have a price on it.
Sorry?
Does it even need to have a price? It could say something else.
Well, if it's new games, like, it should say what the price is
or something. Or yeah.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. It should have the price, in my opinion, and then underneath it on a new line, it should say however many bundles available. So it could say, as an example, Game A, $49.99, 5 optional bundles available. As an example,
yeah, plus 6 others or something.
Yes.
Like that. Something like that. Yeah, no, that'd work.
Yeah.
We had an example. We had just last week. eFootball came out.
Oh.
And it had 5 separate tiles on the store.
Yeah, I think
everything off the front row.
Yeah, I think it was like Mourinho, Messi, and 3 other football people that I really just don't give a fuck about.
It didn't matter which one you clicked on. It took you to the same screen where all those bundles were just displayed on one screen.
Yeah,
if they're all taking you to the same screen, why do we need 5 tiles?
This is precisely the point. Microsoft, I think, need to rejig their marketplace display so that because they would obviously had different SKUs, they need to arrange it by base game only. So like the very, very base product. So in that case, I'm guessing it would be the free-to-play eFootball. I think it was free-to-play. That free-to-play title. And then when you click on it, it says, hey, there's like 50 different fucking bundles. Which one would you like to look at? That's what Microsoft need to do, because I would imagine that a casual gamer or a parent who isn't hardcore gamers like us would go, what the fuck is this? I don't understand, and then click off.
Because going back to the previous discussion that we just had about, like the companies having to release triple stacks to make a profit and everything, that's something that's harming their profits, because as we can probably all agree, they make the most money when the game's first released. And if it's immediately getting bulldozed down the storefront because of these 5 different versions of Game X, then they're losing that important release window. That release window is just, they're just not capitalizing it as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, for the big games, you're always going to have advertisements on the the desktop, on the home page, home of your Xbox. That's another discussion that we need to have, actually, about advertisements on the fucking home page. But
I didn't pay attention, so they can advertise whatever they want.
Well, it's something.
I wish they weren't there, but I honestly gave them no attention.
But yeah, the amount of ad space that's put on there for new games, like I think this last week, I've had full bar ads for Mafia, Gears, the new Mafia Old Country, Gears Reloaded, and like 50 different other games that's like that Microsoft are recommending to me that I've already played and finished. Like, can you at least check my profile before advertising shit to me? It would be great.
It does that all over the place. So you get those games that are just picked for you and you already own it. And
yeah, or I've literally just fucking finished playing it.
It's the non-gaming adverts that get me though. I think I had something for McDonald's. They had like spicy ribs.
Spicy McNugget chicken wings, I think it was, that I saw the other day.
That was it. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, we've been getting those on Twitch as well, so it's not just Xbox. They're really pushing hard on that. But yeah, going back to the bundles, I think Microsoft needs to pull the finger out and go, hey devs, you're taking the piss. This is what we're now going to allow. If you want to put cosmetic bundles on, that's fine, but this is how our store is now going to work. Do with it what you will, but if you start spamming, you're off. That's what they need, because they need to start getting. They need to start getting. They need to start issuing punishments to bad developers and bad actors who are exploiting the.
Well, the thing is, though, it shouldn't happen anymore. Because I don't know how it actually fully works, the system and everything. But I mean, I'm sure that these devs aren't just uploading these stuff themselves. Somebody at Microsoft's pressing, giving the green light to this to appear on the storefront. So it's
possibly
why are they doing that? I mean,
well, I would say I mean I see what you're saying, but as I understand it from how it gets put forward, and I may be wrong, this might be outdated, but from what I've been told is the way it gets put in, Dev A goes to say, hey, we want to make a bundle with this new cosmetic or whatever. Microsoft goes, okay, fine, what price do you want? And then they go, okay, when do you want it to come out? And they go, this day. And they're like, right, fine, done. And that's basically it, simply because they already know that the product works. It's already been tested. So well, you would say that, but again, Tim. Yes. That's how. There's basically no checks. It just goes, does this work? Does all the items in the bundle work? Yes, right. We'll put it in. There you go. You're done. That's literally it. There's no check. And up until this point, there was no rules saying that these devs couldn't do this. So that's what we're in. And this is a situation that we've been experiencing now, is unscrupulous devs have got it into their heads to start taking the piss. And now Microsoft has had to say, okay, you had your chance, you've ruined it for everybody, well done, we're now taking away that ability.
I do wonder how the new release bundles have got caught up in the same thing, because they are really two different things, aren't they? If you... the bundles, that's probably the only thing they've got in common, but they're bundles of new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think Microsoft were just looking at all the stuff that had done recently, and they were going, actually, that's still going to take up more space on the marketplace. Now,
well, that's the thing as well. I don't know if it was. I only saw the article on TA, and I don't know if it was just TA using the word store spam. I don't know if that was on.
I've seen the actual. I've seen the actual email that has been sent. That was sent to the developers. So let me just scroll up and grab it. Let me just read it out verbatim.
Because I was mentioning last week with the eFootball thing. There was actually even with there was a game release and it still had bundles. Even with the bundles and the individual ones, they had less digital shelf space than the eFootball had.
Okay, so I'm going to read this verbatim for the email that I have seen. Okay, so. So, actually, I'll read that in a moment. This is what they've said. This is what Microsoft have said to developers for triple stacks now. This is verbatim from the email sent to a developer, not for public consumption, really, but I'm going to read it out anyway so everybody knows where they stand. Unfortunately, for products that are set up in this manner, i.e. triple stacks, we cannot allow the use of a bundle just for the purposes of promo codes. You'll either need to use one code per product, or going forward, release a single product with all three packages. The latter would allow you to the use of the XPA, that's Xbox Play Anywhere, and smart delivery tags in the store, and would then require a single code to access all 3 builds. And so the mail that actually went to developers was this. And I'm going to read this, as I said, verbatim. Unfortunately, we are no longer supporting bundles of this type. We have received the following messaging from Microsoft Store and Microsoft legal teams. All Xbox developers are subject to the Developer Code of Conduct. Recently, there has been an increase in bundle spamming on the Xbox Store, where publishers attempt to ship a large number of minimally different bundles in order to maximize their digital shelf space. And I'm just saying, out of this email, Outbreak devs, we're looking at you. This has resulted in complaints from developers and consumers. After an investigation, Microsoft has determined that creating bundles which merely contain different SKUs of the same game with no meaningful differentiation between versions, such as a bundle of Xbox One, Xbox Series and Xbox PC versions of a game, are incompatible with Section 3 of the Developer Code of Conduct, as they confuse players and are an attempt to manipulate the search results for a game. Additionally, these bundles interfere with other developers' legitimate use of the store service by taking up an inappropriate amount of slots in new releases, decreasing other developers' discovery efforts. We will no longer be enabling bundles of different SKUs of the same game. Additionally, other attempts to manipulate the store search results may result in bundles being delisted or not granted. That's the entire email that has been sent to multiple developers that I have seen, and that I'm partnered with.
So the term store spam must have come from the TAI.
Yeah, but it's basically what they're saying. As I said, Microsoft's official term was to maximise their digital shelf space, but they mean spam.
Yeah, that seems the crux of the thing, then, doesn't it? Digital shelf space. Mm-hmm. So now we may be in a grey area at the moment, where is the crossover period between the new rules coming in with it? Because even though today we've seen a game's been released with a bundle.
Yeah, I will mention that. They were stuff that has been put into the service before the rules, and it had a set release date. Anything that is submitted to Xbox at this point, to Microsoft at this point, would then be denied. So if it's already been submitted, it's fine. Anything new would be declined.
So it would be interesting to see then. And again, I know I keep mentioning eFootball, but it's the most recent example of it. That would have obviously been in the pipeline as well, so that's why that came out.
I would imagine that
the next time we have a release like that, if that actually applies to the big boys as well.
I would imagine that was set up for the start of the 25-26 Premier League season, because I think that was like this past weekend or something, wasn't it? So that's probably why.
It was this weekend, but that would have already been in the pipeline and would have been due to come out regardless of this rule change or not, though. So just like we've got the bundle today. But I'm just interested to see next time we have one of these games come up, where there's multiple versions, if their focus is what was the exact word again? Minimizing digital shelf space.
Actually, hang on. No, I would like to just take that back. Microsoft did actually use the words. I'm going to read it out again. All Xbox developers are subject to the Developer Code of Conduct. Recently, there has been an increase in, and this is in quotation marks, verbatim from the email, bundle spamming on the Xbox Store. So they did actually use that term.
Bundle spamming. So the individual ones, like, again, mentioning eFootball, they're technically not a bundle, are they? So
I think that might have I think it was just a different license for different areas, people who want to buy the...
Yeah.
But, I mean, either way, those things shouldn't exist, I feel.
I think, again, it's two arguments, bundles and digital self-space. It's two different topics, I think.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, sorry to interrupt you, True. At the end of the day, one game, one slot. That's what it should be.
Yeah, and then it just feeds in for you. Click that game, because that's what you're gonna do. You see a game you're interested in, you have to click on it if you want to see what it is, and then it's going to open up, and you're going, there's multiple versions. And then you're going to look at the versions, aren't you?
Yeah, and say, this one has an art book. This one has a soundtrack. This one has art from the developers.
You need the one style, don't you? Because you have to click on it regardless to find out more about it. Because I mean, no one's going to buy a game based on a game title, are they? Like, that game title looks good, I'm going to buy that straight away.
Well, I don't know. Final Fantasy would say otherwise.
But you have to click on it, and then it reveals there's more versions. Then you're going to investigate those versions, aren't you?
Of course.
It just... Yeah, they. But the thing is, though, there doesn't seem to be any mention of that, of doing that, and I think that's what needs to happen. I mean,
I fully agree with you. Microsoft do need to.
if I was all the devs that were saying that they need to make a triple stack to make profit and everything like that, I'd be banding together actually, and this is what I'd do personally. I'd contact other like-minded devs and band together and approach Microsoft and go down the avenue of digital shelf space and try and improve things because, like I say, they make the most money when the game first comes out.
Agreed.
So that's when people know about it.
And
So,
and if they do advertise their games, which admittedly a lot of indie devs don't really do that further than Twitter or Blue Sky or their own websites. For these devs, being found in these things is a nightmare, you know.
Just you think about it, right? I mean, AFIL's crops up a number of times during this conversation,
Yes.
and I'm just using them as an example. Pick an AFIL game from 6 months ago. How would you find it? Do you know what I mean? How would you find a game that like, what I think will probably help them, and I'm sure you used to be able to do this on one of the storefronts. I can't remember which it was. And I know you can do it on the Windows Store. In all the information that's listed and everything, you can click on the developer, and it will actually bring up a page with all their games.
I legitimately did not know that
on Xbox.
I legitimately did not know that.
No, if you go in the Windows Store now and just type a random AFIL game in and then scroll down on that information, click on them, it should take you, it's like a link, and it will link you to all their games.
Name me an AFIL game. I can't think of one.
Well, the one that I've got to play recently, Steam Punch.
Steam Punch. Okay, let's okay. Load up Steam Punch. Okay.
Unless they've changed it in the last few weeks. You used to be able to.
No, you're right. You're right. It actually does show it. Can we do that on the Xbox Store? I don't think we can.
I don't think we can. Why can't we?
Here's what I think they should do. Right. I think they should remove the new bundles thing from the store. Have it so it's just the basic bitch game being shown on the thing, to be clicked on for a flowchart, as you called it. But I think there should also be a developer search or a publisher search where you can search. Because I mean, occasionally you will see Microsoft do a publisher sale, whether it be EA or 2K or whoever, you know. But I don't believe. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to check the store now. Whilst we're looking,
all they need to do. I'm just on my Xbox now.
Mm-hmm.
If you scroll down to that about box that's on the Xbox Store, you can actually click into that by pressing the A button.
Sorry, about box? What box?
You just go to a random game.
Oh, okay, right.
And you go down once. Then there's a big about box which tells you the publisher, developer, release date, category, all that gubbins. You can actually press A on that, which takes you into it.
Really?
What's the point of that? I'm on it now on my stream if you look.
Okay, let me take a look because I'm not seeing it because I just clicked on one of the recent games. Let me just check your stream.
So like I'm on Steam Punch Lost Tombs now.
Hang on, I'm just going to your website to the thing. True Marvellous. Apologies if you get any stream echo here, guys. Okay, I'll see you on your stream.
So on there, like, you go down, look, and you've got the about screen.
Yep.
That gives you all the information. You can click into that. For what purpose? I have no idea.
Oh, you mean that? Right. Okay.
But then, if you can click into this, why can you click into it? Why can't you click into this and then you can then highlight publisher, click on that, and that does the same as the Windows Store. Right. I've actually got half of it done already.
Right, I'm just gonna quickly super quickly flick to the full screen, so they're not going to be able to hear you just for a second. So give me a second.
Yeah.
So this is what they mean. What true means. We have all these. We can click on the game itself. Click on this about, and click on this. That's what he means. Okay. I've just shown it again now, True.
Yeah,
I've just shown it just for the recording.
The publisher, pretty much like you're doing in the Windows Store, which you've just checked out, and again, it would link you to all that publisher's games, all the developers' games. You could even search by age rating, whatever, as long as everything's tagged up correctly.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Those tags, haven't they? They've all got those tags somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, there's absolutely no point in clicking that box because it adds nothing to it.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean,
exactly. You can click on all these boxes as well. By the way, you can click on technical capabilities.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. What I think they should do with
all. A minute. Oh, sorry to break you off. Sorry to break you off. Right. The other boxes do actually have exactly what I've just said for that about box. If you go on Xbox capabilities, you can highlight between Xbox achievements and Xbox cloud saves, and you can click on those. And then
that is actually part of the filter search in the store. You can search by capabilities, I believe, but you cannot search for devs. And I think you would think that would be the first thing that you would see on a game. Other games by this developer, you would think, or publisher. And you would think that would be part.
I played a game by somebody, and I'm thinking, oh, what else have they done?
Yes,
but at the moment, there's no real way of finding out unless you go onto Google and
alternate websites,
and have a look yourself like that. So why not make it easy?
I mean, to be honest, that's quite a big oversight now we think of it, isn't it? Really, it's like
you can do it on Windows. You can do it on the Windows Store. That's the thing.
Yeah, you can do it on the Microsoft Store. Yeah. For anyone who's curious about what Microsoft he means Windows by Store, the Windows Store, he means the Microsoft Store app on Windows.
So why have we got different features on different things when Xbox's whole mantra is everything's an Xbox? You know what I mean? It should be kind of a universal experience across everything, and it's not. I mean, we know the Microsoft Store and the Windows Store has been a bit of a shit show for quite a while, but it has got some good features which need implementing elsewhere.
Well, I think we've ran out the discussion for this. So let's just summarise what we think is the best way forward. So for triple stacks, we think for non-AAA titles, i.e. these cheaper indie games, we think a separate Xbox Series version is not necessary unless the game is literally pushing the boundaries of what the Xbox One can do. And as far as we're aware that we can think of, we can't think of a single one that has had a triple stack that is actually doing that.
Unless there's technical limitations, there doesn't need to be one.
Yeah. But we're perfectly happy with a Windows stack separately because it is a completely different platform. And a lot of people will use keyboard instead of controllers. And to me, I think that's a different version of skill, which means it warrants a different achievement list, in my opinion.
I actually do use keyboard on some Windows games.
Exactly,
depending on what they are as well.
Yeah, and so it could be a different skill level. I'm perfectly happy to agree, let's have a stack for Windows, let's have a stack for Xbox. They are two completely different platforms, and I'm happy with that. In regards to bundles, we think that Microsoft have put in a rule that isn't really going to help. It's going to stop the spam, but it's not going to stop the problem at the root cause, where the store is showing its age. It's not going as well as it could, and the store, we think, needs a complete do-over, a complete refresh. And just to interrupt, Apex, your Windows Stacks exit button is Alt F4. That's your exit button.
If you want to get fancy about it, they've solved the symptom of the problem, but they've not actually solved the reason for the problem.
Yes, they definitely need to do something about. They definitely need to do something about what is not being provided, i.e., a way to search developers. And so to summarise in quick terms, what me and True have gone through over the last 85 minutes or so. God, it's been that long. I hope you all have enjoyed the conversation. Yeah, so what we've kind of come up with, Microsoft needs to set it so there's only one slot per new game that comes out, where it's, when you click on it, it comes up with the option of basic bitch bundle, deluxe, ultimate, whatever bundles are available, on a little flow chart where you can just scroll across. This is what you get on each one, and it has a little thing that compares for each one that the devs the devs of those games or publishers of those games can just say, this is what you get in each version, like as an X or a tick mark for all of them. No, inclusive of AAA. It should be rules for everybody. One slot, one game. That's what it should be.
It's got to be across the board, otherwise it's just not fair.
Yeah, one slot across the board, and then when you click on a game, whether it be Dead Rising or whether it be Phil's latest game, whatever, it should be one slot. That's it. And that way, you would have a lot more separate games on the new games list that might actually stay there for more than one fucking day. And B, you would have a lot less spam of the same game. And C, it would make discovery of new games. Let's say you only play Xbox on the weekend, you'll have at least a week's worth of games to be able to see rather than 3 stacks, you know? And D, it would mean that it's a much more pleasant viewing experience with a lot less spam. Another thing that needs to be done, ability to search by developers, releases, or publisher. So games by this developer, games by this publisher. This needs to be a list, another search bar in the store, and also on every game's game page. We should be able to search AFIL games, or EA games, or 2K, or Xbox Studios, or whoever. We should be able to search more games from this developer if you like a game. Yeah, more filters would help as well, but that's what we're thinking about bundles, and I think we can all agree. I think True will agree with me on this as well. Fuck Drop Dead Studios.
Yeah, they've caused a rod for their own back. I mean, unfortunately, others have been caught up in it. That's all I feel sorry for, really. It's been inadvertently caught up in it.
I mean, they are to blame for all of this new ruling.
But yeah, one a week was. I mean, it was one a week.
I think it was more than one a week, to be honest. I think it was like 4 a week.
I am going to miss the AI generated image for the game tiles every week.
Well, we're gonna end here, guys. I want to thank True for coming in. This has actually been rather enlightening and really enjoyable, personally, I feel. I hope everybody else enjoys this too. I'm not sure if True's going to upload it on his end, because I'm not sure if he was playing games or anything whilst we were doing it, but I'm going to upload it at my end. So if you want to see more of these kind of discussions, please let us know, because I think it's been good to get a lot of shit off our chests, I feel. So thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, True, for being here. And we'll see you all soon. Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.